Hola chicos, my name is Nina Bakker and I'm a first year student at European Studies. As you might already know, when you're studying European Studies, you also are following a course in a foreign language, which is either Spanish, French or German. I personally am studying Spanish at the moment, and today I'm gonna show you some tips and tricks on how I learn Spanish and try to keep up with my homework and just learn it as fast as possible. So the first tip I want to share with you guys, and maybe it's the most obvious tip, is the books that we work with and the homework you need to do in order to keep up. Also, I highly encourage you to go to all the classes. We have Spanish 3 times a week. We have a class of 45 minutes, which is just talking Spanish. And then we have 2 classes of 1.5 hours that is working on the grammatica and learning texts and just listening to Spanish. So the first thing I want to show you is the books we work with. So these are the books we work with. This is the first one. I personally began at Spanish 0 level, so that means I started Hola, ¿cómo está? So this is the A1 version. But you can also do Spanish 2, and I think you started at B2 level then. So this is the first book we did. I already finished this book, and this is the book we did in the first semester. So till January, because we paid a little bit more attention to chapter 9. So this is the first one, and now I'm currently working at Aula Dos, so that is A2, so there's a level up. So as you see, we work really fast and it goes really quickly, so you need to catch up, you need to go to the lesson in order to understand it and to get by, because otherwise you're missing a lot. The books are actually really simple. You also have a CD in the back, so you can do your homework and you can listen to the listening exercise some more. So the book is really clear and you really get on at home if you just paid attention in the lessons. Then what also is really good is just to make notes. So this is my notebook. And as you see, I'm sorry for my handwriting, it's not the most pretty one, but this is my notebook where I just write everything down, and so you get like some pages you get from school. So I just organized it all in my little book. So that's how it looks like, and that's also what you need to study for the tests. So that was just the books and the notes from school that you get in the homework in order to be catch up with the lessons. But now I'm going to share you a few tips that I used myself in order to improve my Spanish in my own time. So what really is important and what I noticed helped me a lot was I wrote down the most 10 common verbs you use in Spanish. Oh, it's back. I can show you. So what I did is I wrote down the most 100 most used Spanish verbs. I wrote down the Spanish verbs. I wrote down what I meant in the Dutch, and then I just learned them all out of my head. And then I also did that with how you feel. So I just know the basic words and understand it a little bit more. So the next thing I want to show you guys is basically, I think, everybody's personal favorite thing to do while learning a new language, which is watching shows on Netflix in Spanish. For example, like I said, Papel, I think a lot of people have heard about, and Elite. On Netflix you actually have a lot of Spanish-speaking TV series and films. I personally tried it once, only in Spanish and no subtitles or Spanish subtitles. Didn't work out. I didn't understand it, and then you also don't enjoy the TV series. So now I do have subtitles on in my native language Dutch, but every time I hear a word I look in the subtitles just to see what it meant, and then also a lot of things are being remembered, so that's nice. A personal tip of mine is, I know like I said, Papel is very a favorite of many people, but what I also love is Altamar. It's also a Spanish show. Currently there are 2 seasons on Netflix, and if you're looking for a new show which is not that mainstream, I would certainly suggest this show. It's really good. Then another tip that I want to share with you guys is Spanish music or French music or German music, depending on what you're gonna study as language, you also have really great Spotify playlists with all songs in that language. For Spanish, you have Viva Latino, that I listen a lot personally, because it's just rap music, so it's kind of in the music that I like, but then it's Spanish, so it's not like old Spanish that I myself am not into. If you're into it, fine, then perfect, go listen to that. But I use this playlist a lot. You have like all the Spanish songs in here, and I don't try to understand it. I just listen to the words and just listen to the music. And the same with English. At one point, I just hope that I get it. But it's also good to listen to how fast Spanish people talk. Another tip that I wanted to share with you guys is posting post-its with the words of the language you're trying to learn on the things. For example, I have here an ordenador, which means a laptop or a computer in Spanish, and I have the post-it on my laptop. So when I look at it, I know that the Spanish word for laptop is ordenador. I have the same done for books, like flores, which means flowers. Then I have here one television with my TV, un reloj, y un ventana. So you can like play with words, put them on the object, what the words mean, and then when you look at it, you immediately know what the word, for my example, in Spanish is. So I think that's really helpful. And then you try to memorize it, but you see it every single day, so that also helps a lot. Another app which is really helpful is Lingo. Many of you, I think, already know it. It's with the cute little O. I personally use this app to learn Spanish, but you can learn all different kinds of languages. You have these different kind of levels. I'm not that far yet, but you also have different subtitles. So you have restaurants. So when I click on that, I will learn the vocabulary for a restaurant that you have in Spanish. So I'm going to show you a little bit about that. So there you have the cute little O again. And then it just asks me for the definition of a restaurant in Spanish. So I just click on the answer that I think is right, and then I immediately see the answer. So I think this is a very good app to learn a language, but it's also really fun. And it is always easy if you have a family member who speaks the language you're trying to learn. Eso sí, ¿no, Papa?
Sí.
I wanted to thank you all for watching my video with tips on how to learn a new language. I hope it's helpful to you. I hope you can apply the tips. And yeah, thank you. Bye!